ORA, is it accurate? And what can you expect as you process your own retirement?
Welcome back, everybody, to the CD Financial Podcast, CD Financial, where health meets wealth. I'm Marcus C., your host. That man across from me is Chuck D. As always, Chuck, my man, glad to see you. Looking good.
Thank you. You're looking good too, man. I like the way the stash and the beard are going. It's a little heavy for me, but you hipsters in Austin, you're probably down.
That and the flannel. That's all I need to get around Austin.
Flannel. It's so blazing hot. They're not wearing flannel now, are they?
God, I hope not. I'm not hip
I need
enough.
to get the surfer boys here wear flannel too. And I bought over the last like 12 months, I bought one or two flannels at different times. Kind of like one of them.
All right, man. So we're talking ORA. Are you ready to discuss
Yeah,
ORA?
let's get to it, because some of you have said, hey, the stories are nice, but we want you to get to the meat. So let's get to it.
All right, let's get to the meat. First of all, before we get into the why they're switching over to ORA, what are we coming from? It seems like that may be pretty obvious, but what is it that we're moving to by going to ORA, or moving from?
OPM processed your retirement, triggered from your HR, agency HR, with paper application, the SF3107. That's the application for retirement, application for immediate retirement.
Immediate retirement?
There you go. Yeah. So that's what they did. And now it's moving to the Online Retirement Application, or ORA. Yes.
Okay. So why the switch then? Why are we going over to that? I like the idea of getting rid of paper, but
right.
I mean,
so
let's get into
supposedly the digital application will prevent when you log in there and do that, it'll streamline your process. So any communication between the HR rep and you or OPM to go back and forth, cumbersome. But I'm going to tell you something else too. It appears that they are reducing the amount of manpower that it's going to take. And there's a lot more load for accuracy that's going to land on the shoulders of the retiree. And we'll get into that, why I say that and how. But that's it. They want to streamline it and say, look, if we have any questions we need to ask, it's going to ask you through ORA. And you're going to have to answer it. And the delays are on you, baby. They're on your shoulders because you're delaying. And the answers are on you. And the accuracy of those answers are on you. So it's kind of a lot of responsibility, right? And they hope that there'll be a reduction in errors, right? Because they have these built-in checkpoints. And then we talked about tracking it, and they're hoping for faster processing time. I mean, eventually, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they hope.
Well,
the eventuality.
I mean, the idea is that, and you just mentioned it, right? Now it's on the person, the individual, to determine how quickly this gets done, by how quickly you can move.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
So we're talking.
Yeah, that is what we're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, and that seems like a much better process. I mean, having worked for the government, I remember how things would work in the past, where you had to have the letters coming in and the forms coming in, then they have to find the right desk, then the person at that desk has to find the time to actually look at it and process it. But now we're looking at something completely different. So what's the current process look like, man? How do they access? Well, before we get to the access in the system, what's the current process looking like?
You mean, how is it going?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask me that other question you just said? What was it?
How do they access the system? You want to go there first?
Yeah, let's talk about that, because we're getting varying information here, and you can't trust AI either, because there's a lot of mistakes. They just don't know yet, right? The actual process. It looks like, from everyone that I've spoken with. So let me tell you about a USCIS, Customs and Immigration Service. They were housed in the big funky, like Aztec looking stacked sort of pyramid building here in Laguna Niguel. And they're no longer there. They've launched them in Treasury out of the building. But from what I've been told, they got an email from HR, that their own HR agency, that sent them a link, and they follow that link to create their own login at ORA, login.gov. And apparently your CAC card, CAC card, you can also access the login.gov through that. obviously, and you can get to your ORA login area. You're obviously going to create a username and a password to begin the process. Now, some have begun with the hard copy, and then they were redirected to ORA, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Which makes sense, right? If we're getting away from the paper, we want to do that. So, what else? I mean, once you've accessed the system, what are we looking at? What's the process afterwards?
Okay, so they're going to take you through a number of questions inside of ORA. You're going to go through, you're going to upload your information, your current address, your personal information, and they're going to ask you what your retirement elections are. But here's the thing about those retirement elections: they're going to ask you about survivor benefit. They're going to ask you about your group life insurance and your health insurance and your tax withholding. But the ironic thing here is that they're going to actually require that you upload the same forms that you used to use or that you're going to continue to use. I shouldn't even say used to use, that you're going to continue to use for retirement. That's why we say a lot of the load is on you, right? Yeah, there's a lot of forms that you're going to have to upload. Marcus, what do you got there?
So yeah. Well, now that you say that about forms, so is this eliminating paper completely, or is it not?
Well, on the government side, it is. It's eliminating the paper. Okay. But again, not on the employee side, right? So you got your form. You still are using your SF 3107, your application for immediate retirement. You're still using that. You're still going to be using your, and you're going to upload it. Let me list them, the 3107. Now, if you don't buy your spouse the full survivor benefit, then you have to get that your signature notarized, right? Stamped and notarized. And that's going to be SF. SF just stands for standard form. So don't let it intimidate you. I say SF before every form, because if you Google it by that procedure, SF space 3107, you're going to find the form. Yeah. It'll say opm.gov. And SF 3107-2, that's the form for spouse's consent. They're going to want that uploaded. You only need that if you don't buy them the full survivor benefit. Okay. But then that same form 2817, SF 2817, your life insurance continuation election form, they want that. So you're going to have to upload that. And then once you do that, there's the SF 2818. And we're going to give you a list of these forms. And that's your FEGLI elections. Like, are you going to do are you going to keep your basic without reducing it? Most employees, again, do a 75% reduction. More information on FEGLI elections, you can click right here to that video. Okay. SF 2818, that's your FEGLI election form. Most do a 75% reduction of basic. And then there's the beneficiary update form, SF 2823. It's good to update your beneficiaries. Do you know why?
Life changes, man. Life happens fast.
So let me tell you about Diane. Let's call her Diane. I just spoke to Diane last week. And I asked Diane, because she's now a widow, and she wasn't the federal employee. Her husband was. Department of Navy. And I said, Diane, what happened to that basic group life insurance payment that Fred, we're going to change all these names, that Fred was supposed to, he wouldn't get, but he had on his life, right? What happened to that basic group life insurance coverage? She says, when he was hired by Navy, he was single, so he listed his brother as the beneficiary. I go, and then you guys got married. Yep. Diane says 17 years ago. I go, oh. So then she goes, so he's going to get that money, but I'm the beneficiary of everything else in his home. But I bet you that Fred didn't want that to happen to his wife.
Yeah.
So in the future, right, to prevent that, when going to retire, just send in an updated form, SF 2823. But that's one of the forms that you're going to have to send in to update. Okay? So these are forms you have to upload. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And don't forget, Oh, and the SF designated beneficiary 3102. Oh, so if you're single, here's another form. The SF 3102, or even if you're not single, but you've elected a zero survivor benefit, which you don't see too often, but it happens. If that's the case, the SF 3102 will say, well, if you didn't collect enough pension, you died young before you collected enough pension to eat up your own contributions into the system, then this form will point the money towards your beneficiary. And then there's also Form W4P, your tax withholding form. Okay? So how many forms is that? 1, 2, 3,
I'm
4,
counting
5,
7 at
6,
least.
7. You're right. You are correct, sir. That's right. Yes. Oh, by the way, you did ask me how would it look? You will get updates from ORA. So it should be giving you notifications and emails to let you know, hey, this is what's going on with your application. Oh, by the way, we need you to update this. So there's less human interaction. Look, retirement specialists, they're falling by the wayside. I mean, they're just like disappearing, right? So they'll need in order to help you as the employee retiring, you're going to need something to notify you and let you know. So without the specialist being available, right? In its stead, you're going to have this. You're going to have an automated system that's notifying you. Yes, and so this is taking the place of your official specialist. They're going to ask you to confirm everything, right? So they're going to show you. Yeah. So my client, did I give her a name or I didn't? From CIS.
You gave Diane and Fred.
Yeah. Okay, good. No, but that was from somebody who lost, who didn't have the proper beneficiary update. So let's talk about I don't know. Let's call her Lorraine. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, it was my old next door neighbor, but she's not a Fed. So let's Lorraine, right? Lorraine, she told me, right, that she got a whole list of her service history, and she read it off to me. She goes, "Okay, Charles, I can see service history," and then she said, "Now it says military history, but I wasn't in the military." Then it says survivor benefit, but Lorraine's a widow. Okay, my client, but that's not her name again. Now it shows my tax election. And then it says that all your forms are there. And then this is the estimate of my agency annuity. They call it an annuity. That just means it's your pension. They call it an annuity because you put money in a little bit and they put a bunch of money in, and out pumps a lifetime annuity or pension, right? Yeah. And so that's cool, right? And that's why when you get a survivor benefit, you're altering your annuity because your payment naturally reduces when you add somebody else to it. Yeah. Right. Okay, so the benefit estimate, you want to hear these numbers? They're pretty cool. For Lorraine, the estimate she got from OPM was $3,005 gross a month. Nice. Now, Marcus, we make estimates for our families day in and day out. So do you want to ask me another question?
What are those estimates like?
So our estimates, now we had done months prior. Our estimates were $3,011. Wow. Yeah, her estimates were $3,005. So I was feeling pretty good about our estimates.
Yeah, right on point.
But here was the interesting thing. Now, Lorraine is older than 65, okay? If she wasn't, FEGLI, the Federal Employees Group Life Insurance. We throw around these acronyms. The FEGLI, it showed all the deductions. Because she's older than 65, and she did a 75% reduction, it showed line by line the cost to reduce her pension. And the FEGLI said zero. And then it had Federal Employee Health Benefit, FEHB, $245. Mm-hmm. Dental, $58. And then it had a net from the health insurance and the dental of $27.54. It did not have one of the biggest expenses. It was not listed.
Which is
there. You go. How big is it? What expense? It was the it was the remember all the late night uh,
Yeah.
co-hosts or show.
It was so hot. I saw the coyote chasing the rabbit, and they're both walking. Okay, go ahead.
So the net it showed was 2754, but the biggest expense, the federal tax, was not listed, which
Mm,
she thought was unusual, and I did too.
I think that's unusual
Well,
too.
they didn't want to. I think they don't want to go there yet, right? Yeah, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not checking her W-4 form, right? But I think the system will catch up as they get used to it. Some
Yeah.
agencies, um, they're initiating that link with from their HR department to access
Hmm.
ORA, and some agencies are leaving it up to the employee, from what I'm hearing. Yeah. And the last move that she was asked to do was to certify her retirement. Now that they've showed her all the numbers, to certify it and submit it. Now, I would point out that
Hmm.
her being a single lady, that cost for, and us being in Southern California, I've noticed our cost for FEHB, Federal Employee Health Benefit, is less money than in other regions of the country. I don't know why, but
Hmm.
take it because I look at leaving earnings statements, and we have coast to coast, Marcus. As I've said before, we have federal families in Florida and in South Carolina and in Alabama. This guy's hysterical. He was also from Navy. I mean, he really is. It's funny. What is it? War Damn Eagles. Yeah, the war.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Auburn.
Auburn.
Yeah, and their mascot's not even an eagle. He had to explain the whole thing.
Auburn Tigers. War
I go, is
Eagle.
that the Crimson Tide? He goes, don't you ever say Crimson Tide.
Yeah. No, that's fighting words.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And, of course, in DC, Virginia, Maryland, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Um, Oklahoma now. I'm so happy about that because my wife's family's from there and she is too, right? Air traffic out of Oklahoma City. That was exciting, right?
Nice.
Yeah. Lot of, a lot of families in the West, right? A lot from Colorado because I used to go in regular for Treasury and do lunch and learns. So a lot of families in the Denver region, right, and in Washington State, and of course Arizona and Nevada, because
Yep.
they're both darling states to retire to, and Washington State for the same reason as Nevada and almost Arizona because there's no state tax, but like Texas,
Hmm.
where we also have a lot, of course, um,
Yep.
there is a high real estate tax. Just a sidebar. Washington State and Texas have a lot of real estate tax. They have to make up for the lack of income tax.
No state tax.
Yeah, whereas Arizona just
Yep.
manages to do it, and so does Nevada. So even though Arizona has like a flat 2.5, I think it is, that's
Yeah.
it's money well spent, I would say, right?
Yeah. Well, Nevada has the gaming to help them.
Oh,
So
oh yeah, Nevada. That's right. Yes, of course it does. Yes. Okay.
yeah.
So, any other questions over there by my host?
I have one more question before I do though. And because talking about all this aura, all this online stuff, it made me have visions. And correct me if I'm wrong. Visions of, you remember when Microsoft first started and the little paperclip looks like you're trying to create a document. I kind of get that vibe from the whole aura thing. Looks like you're trying to plan retirement.
I don't
Is
remember
that what
what
we're
you're
looking
saying, but I get your point, right?
at? You don't remember the paperclip?
I don't, but my memory's not like yours. Right? I have to catch and release.
You're obviously younger than me then.
Well, I have to catch and release numbers all day long, right? And I put them down in your
Yeah.
plan, right? I put them down in your
Yeah.
files and in your retirement income plan, your chartered retirement course. Yeah. So yeah.
So I guarantee you, everybody out there is either shaking their fist at the screen or maybe cursing under their breath at the thoughts of that paperclip coming onto the screen and trying to help. Anyway, so that being aside, is there anything it doesn't handle that Aura doesn't
Well,
handle?
I'm glad you asked that. It doesn't handle, of course, anything with TSP because that really is
Okay.
very personal and it's more in retirement planning, TSP. And again, it doesn't handle Social Security because, again, when you
Okay.
elect it, it's very personal and part of retirement planning. So it doesn't handle that. And you're saying, well, Charles, why do you say retirement planning? Isn't this retirement planning?
Why do you say retirement planning?
Because this is actually retiring from your job. But retirement planning is
Yeah.
very different. Well, I forgot to tell you one thing,
Yeah.
by the way. If you do,
Hit
if you
me.
do submit your application, what was it that it said? There were two things it said, right? Approve and submit or something like that. If you do submit your
Yeah.
application, it will give you a congratulations from OPM, your official congratulations, right? So that's kind of cool. But we have been reading some concerns here that OPM's calculations and estimates have been
Mm-hmm.
in error. In other words,
Hmm.
the calculations have not been that accurate. So when we say
Okay.
reach out to get a, um, a benefits report, more than ever now, we're recommending that you understand your own numbers and reach out to get a benefits report run for you. And then when we do
I love
that,
that.
we will layer it into your chartered retirement course. So we mesh your federal benefits into your overall family planning. And now more than ever again,
Yep.
it's so vital that you do that. Yeah. And as always, you can just do that by texting us, right? And
Yep.
I don't like to sound on the podcast salesy, but I don't want you to take to take it sitting down, so to speak. If if you're not sure of these numbers and Aura may be making errors, then by all means just text us your first and last name and your email, and that 949-359-5100, the 359-5100 number, and you'll if you text us, we know what you're asking. You want a 15-minute phone call, and we'll talk to you, right? And we can get you
Yep.
your benefits report, and it's lickety split for us. I mean, it's
Yep.
complex,
And
but for us, it's no longer complex because we've been doing it so long.
right. And just to reiterate something you mentioned earlier with the story you told about one of your clients, right? The reason you get someone on your side to walk you through these things is because we often forget, or you do it once and you go into autopilot, right? Okay, I checked all the boxes once in my life, I'm done. But you don't account for people passing away, for births, for marriages, for divorces, all these things that could change those benefits and who they go
And your
to.
elections,
And you need someone on your side to remind you of those things and to look at it. Because honestly, we do. We check the boxes and we're done, right?
these are for
I
life.
did it. I'm
These
done.
elections are for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now without a
Yeah.
specialist to tell you, Lord, I've had to correct a lot of folks, and I've launched a lot of the three mot, not the podcast, but the three mot video column, 3 minutes on a Tuesday, on the YouTube channel, just to save y'all, because I don't want you to like drop your group life insurance when it could be a
Yeah.
zero premium and you could keep something. That's been the major mistake, a major. And then your survivor benefit. There's also you have links to them. Survivor benefit link right here. Okay, just click right there and you'll get a link to survivor benefit conversation. Those are two, but there's a lot more. Okay, so look through that
Yeah.
library because these are elections for life. Yeah, I want you to get it right because it's for life. Yeah,
That's it. And if something has to change,
yeah,
change it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, Marcus, do you have a health tip for us today?
I got a great health tip for you. At least it's great for me.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So, we on this podcast, we've talked a lot about exercise and weight training and routines and all. But I just want to put a reminder out there as a health benefit to remember to go outside and play. It doesn't always have to be a structured, in the gym, I'm doing my sets, I'm jogging for my 2 miles a day or whatever it is. Sometimes you just got to go out there and play. And I think it's funny now. I see all these fitness influencers incorporating things like skipping.
No way.
Whereas kids, we used to just skip naturally. Yeah, yeah. It's you see these big guys, these big bodybuilders, and they're skipping because it's good cardio. But just stuff that we used to do instinctively, right? Used to go outside, throw a ball around, skip around, run. Just get out there and play, man. Sometimes exercise, well, not sometimes. Exercise should always be enjoyable, and sometimes it should just be fun, just for fun, man. I'm going out there. I'm gonna go throw the ball around, shoot some hoop, play some volleyball, whatever it is that you do for fun. Just remember to take time to play because it's not just good for your body; it's good for your soul. You feel so much better
That's
after having some
crazy.
time outside.
Coach Case says that if you watch the European players in the NBA, their footwork is
Uh-huh.
so amazing. But he says when they're doing warm ups, they're not just shooting, they're kicking the soccer ball around.
Yeah.
He said in their
Yeah.
footwork, the way they move. And there's one guy, Croat or Serbian, and he's a center. He didn't make it to the finals, but I think it was the quarterfinals or was it semifinals?
Are you talking about Divac?
Maybe. He's huge, white dude, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, he'd get into spaces, and I would be like, I'm watching on TV, going, how was it? Just seems so like not elegant, but like with graceful or with little effort. It seemed like very little effort. He would get around the other players, and he'd put a bucket in, and I'd be like, he wasn't like trying to crash the rim or anything. It's like,
right.
How did he get in that space and put two in? I was mesmerized by that, and it reminds me, Marcus, too, of playing tag when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
Or playing with my dog a few years ago, because now Barris is like 11 or 12, right? Yeah. And so it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and after the dog, and now I get a little tired when I run after the dog, and he loves for me to come after. Barris, man.
Yeah.
Boy, he'll wear me out fast, won't he?
He's got that dog energy. But that's the message today, man. Just get out and play. If you haven't done it in a long time, get out there and play. Just whatever it is you do for fun, just go do it. And enjoy the benefits.
That sounds like fun. Okay, folks. It's good seeing you all again. We're here for you. Don't forget that.
Thanks for joining us on the CD Financial Podcast. CD Financial